Why make trillions when we could make billions?
Hello, I'm playing a couple of tables of rush poker and full tilt. This raise is pretty big. I think I'll fold the fives. This is a cool format because as soon as you don't want to play your hand, you can just quick fold, and then it just folds right away and gives you a new hand and puts you at a different table. This queen jack I might raise depending on the statistics of the players to my left. This guy has played 3 of the last 5 hands he was dealt, so he's pretty crazy, and there's a raise and stuff. Here, this is interesting. I flop 3 8s with a queen kicker. I'm not going to slow play because if he has a pair that he limped, he might raise me, or he's never folding a draw. So, okay, now I have a full house. I might as well just keep betting because he might be on a flush draw, and he'll call with a flush draw anyway. So I'm just going to keep betting like 2/3 pot. I don't know what to do here. I'm just gonna hope he has like 9-10 and calls an all-in shove. Maybe he has an 8 that he solo played, so I'm just gonna go all in and hope he calls. And he probably was on a flush draw, so. In situations like those, I suppose I could have bet like half the pot, but then again, you know, if he has a hand, he's gonna call all in. Whereas if I bet small, he's still gonna just call if he wants to be cautious. And his statistics were telling me that he was a pretty cautious player. So if he had an 8 with like a bad kicker and I bet like $1 on the river, he would probably just call, and then if I shove, he still has to call. So I guess it all has to do with the math. If I think if he calls me half the time, if I bet like $1, or he calls me like 1 out of 5 times when I go all in, it's probably still correct to go all in. So I don't know. It's definitely a gray area. 4s here. Probably gonna raise. No, I'm not. This guy's played 3 of his last 4 hands, and this guy's raising big, so it's not a good idea to set mine in most cases with small pairs against one player, because most of the time you miss, and then yeah, see, like I wouldn't limp with 2s here because I'll get raised, and even if I do call, there's a chance that I'll have like a set over set situation. Ace King is a hand I play pretty fast in most cases. This guy calls. I don't really have much information on him, so I'm gonna raise small and just build the pot a little bit in case we have an ace with a better kicker against an ace with a worse kicker setup happening. So I juiced up the pot with what I thought was the best hand, and I didn't want to put too much in because, oh, and I'm raising here because this guy has really, really tight statistics, and I'm just going to check call 1 street probably. He bets 10 cents into 60. I have to call because I'm pretty sure my aces and kings are 6 outs are still good. Just gonna check fold here. Oh, why is he betting so tiny? 6 into 12, 2. I'm not quite getting the odds to call here. I know this is really conservative, but I raised small so that I could get the pot a little bigger in case we both flop an ace. So that, because like if you start out with a very tiny pot, what happens is if you get top pair with an ace and he has top pair with a worse kicker, what you want to happen is you want the pot to be bigger on the flop so that it can increase more exponentially. But if you miss, you miss. And I'm out of position, so I don't wanna have to be put into a mandatory bluffing situation if the pot's too big. So that's why I raised like 3x instead of like 8x, like a lot of players would do. So I'm just folding my bad hands. Nothing interesting. 3-5 suited. I'm just gonna limp in. This guy's not that aggressive. I don't think he'll raise me and try to get like a. Okay, well that's not a good flop. I just like see a flop. I'll fold now. This guy min raised. I never really fold suited connectors to min raises, even though I'm out of position. Because I can probably, because a min raise is a sign of a pretty weak player, and if I raise, he's never folding, and if I see a flop and he hits top pair and I get like a straight or something, then I can probably win the whole stack. So I have a gut shot to the 10. Just give up. Yeah, I'm just gonna give up. I hit a pair of 5s. 3-way pot, 3 players. This guy limped. I'm just gonna raise and then fold to a re-raise. Try to isolate the bad player. Probably don't want anyone except for him in the pot. That's why, and I'm in position because he has to act first on every street. So it's kind of a profitable situation. If he goes all in, it probably limp in with like pocket jacks, and he just. It's not a bad flop for me because a lot of his hands are like small pocket pairs, like pocket 3s. So I'm just gonna fire like a standard bet and just try to take it down. And he calls. He probably still has like a really bad hand. He might have like 10 jack or a pair of 5s, but this is the type of player who just never folds. So I'm just gonna check, try to hit a queen or ace or 10. And I hit gin on the river. I'm just gonna go put him all in. He's probably gonna bet, yeah. Just gonna put him all in. And he slow played his way to death. He took that pot down. This guy called my raise and she checked, and frankly I'm not representing anything on a 10-10-5 board, so I'm just gonna check. Cause if I had like aces, I would probably check too. And he checked twice, so I'm never letting him check twice. I'm just gonna fire 2 barrels here. I'm gonna fire the turn and I'm gonna fire the river again. Ace 10. I'll just fold ace 10. I think it's just not strong enough to warrant a raise. And here I'm gonna fold ace 6. So we haven't really gotten into any interesting situations, just like pretty boring hands. I never really I haven't been put to a tough decision yet, but that's probably also because most of these players play their hands face up. Pocket queens, just gonna raise. I'm surprised I haven't been getting more big pocket pairs. This guy calls. He probably has a small pair. He checked really quickly. I'm gonna check, pretend I have a worse hand than I do, and then maybe if I check, he'll pay me off with like a pair of 6s or something. I'm just gonna bet small, get value from like a worse hand. I'm gonna isolate this guy with a limp. And he folds. Ace queen suited. This guy limped in. Good enough hand to isolate. And we flop air. I'm actually going to represent the king here because I raised under the gun, and I think he should be able to fold this. Yeah. King queen is a hand that's easily dominated, so I'm just going to fold, even though it looks pretty. Aces, we're going to raise the same amount I always do. And this guy, 3 bets, 1 out of 15 hands. So I'm just going to 3-bet him small and hope that he shoves all in on me. He probably has queens or jacks. Okay, that's an interesting note to take. He folded to a small 4-bet. 3x, 3 bets, under the gun, razor. Then insta folds to small 4-bet. So this is a guy who's going to be attacking a lot of people's raises just because he feels like it. So I took that note on him because next time, you know, if he does that and I have like a ace king type of hand, like a hand with good value, if I go all in, I might, you know, re-raise him because that way I gain additional equity. Because he might fold, and if he doesn't, even if he doesn't, I have probably a dominating hand, and even if he has like 10s or jacks or queens, and it's a coin flip. So it's a good place to recognize places where you can increase your equity. Here I'm not going to raise too big. I don't want to put too much money in the pot with just ace king. Yeah, because that can happen. I don't know anything about this player, and I really, like right now ace king is not a really good hand because a lot of aces and kings are probably out,